Hi there, it's Adam bringing you another video to the channel. We are going to do another unboxing video. As you can see in frame, we are doing an unboxing on this Iberia 757-200. As you can see, we have the box illustration or the sleeve illustration. Again, another model that has the sleeve that is not part of the main box. Which I like, and sort of going from the top, we have obviously Boeing 757-200, limited edition to 144 pieces. Iberia, Líneas Aéreas de España. Iberia 757-200, obviously the actual illustration of the model and aircraft itself. Registration Echo Charlie Foxtrot Yankee Juliet. Of course, Inflight200. The next generation of 1/200 scale diecast aircraft models, and the item number. Some people, the item number might not mean too much, but since moving my models here, the item numbers have been quite significant for me, because I do log that as an important piece of information per model, just so I can keep track easily of my models, especially against the MADB database, which we are fortunate to have. But even without that, I guess, you know, it just helps, like if you find a model on eBay or through a retail store or through private sales or wherever, you can easily reference the item number, probably easier than maybe a registration, for instance, and you know then, do I have that model or do I not? So yeah, we're going to get into the actual unboxing, like we normally do. So again, just to showcase the actual model box, as you can see there, we have the illustration again, this time with the Inflight200 models website, and the same again on the top side as well, and then obviously on the sides blank, which is the main box. Again, the sleeve removes fairly easily. Not always the case, I'll be honest, but yeah, in some instances they do slide up pretty well. Of course, you've got a foam cover on top of the model sitting there, and then as you can see inside, we have the actual model itself, complete with a couple of plastic sheets just for added protection there. The stand, I will show that, and I'll probably put the model on the stand on this occasion. So a little bit more authentic, I think, having the plaque there with Iberia Boeing 757-200 scale 1/200, and of course you have this nice little piece there, just to protect both, well, more so protecting the model itself. Obviously when you position it on the stand, it just sort of cushions it a little bit, and yeah, nice little touch that they add. Also like the fact that the actual stand is already kind of pre-made. Fair enough, you have got a screw, so if you did need to take it off for some reason, then you can, but I appreciate that they do it in a way that it's already done, so you don't really need to assemble that. In this little compartment here, the top side, they are the in-flight choices that equally magnetize just like the gear. Again, not too bad in terms of sort of how these are packaged. They come in a little pack, plastic bag, and again can sort of be resealed. It's certainly not one that you need to tear open, which is always good. And then obviously the model itself, which we will take out the gear in preparation, and showcase the model with those on. So let's try and take out the model. There we go. And this is the underside. So we'll just try and get these, get the gear in. And yeah, again, they seem to be fitting pretty nicely. And then the actual nose gear itself there as well. So as you can see, that is the underside. Just move that main box out of the way. Place model down. We will position the model. So here we have the actual model itself sitting with obviously the gear in there. Again, nice representation by Inflight200. This is certainly a model that was sort of before my time, before I got into aviation, but the important thing about this Iberia scheme is that it kind of resonates with me, obviously during childhood and going to, you know, on holiday basically abroad to Spain, particularly Mallorca, where we went more often than anywhere else. And not just on aircraft, but I think the general branding of Iberia with this scheme, you know, you could see it around the airports on ground equipment, for instance, like air stairs, and certainly like the buses that maybe take you to an aircraft on a remote stand, for example, and things like that, and ad boards, you know, just general concept around the airport. Obviously a big influence, rather I'd say probably iconic for Spain in aviation with this livery. Of course the newer livery, you know, is kind of going with the times and being more modernised, but I think a lot of people probably resonate with Iberia more so with this scheme than they do the newer one. But again, it probably depends on what era, you know, you've kind of been brought into it and things like that. But this is actually, in fact, I know I do actually have the Gemini 200 Iberia A320 as well. So this is actually, I think it's the second Iberia model that I have in this scheme, certainly. There is another model that I do have an order, and I can't remember exactly what that is. I'm not sure if it's an A300 or something. I can't remember off the top of my head. But obviously, when that does arrive, whenever that will be, I'll probably maybe do a video on that if I remember to do that. And yeah, I just think equally it's yeah, a very sort of, maybe not as old as some schemes, but it's certainly there. This particular frame, from what I know, I got delivered in 1994 to Iberia. I think it went on a brief loan lease to Europa, and then went off to you know, got delivered to Iceland there, which I think probably spent most of its time service with Iceland there. But yeah, again, just gives you a nice rendition of the model from both sides. And what I'm going to do now is just put it on the stand as well, just to kind of showcase how it sits on there. So as you can see, the model is now on the stand. Probably hard to tell sort of from the perspective we are focusing on, but does sit nicely in a kind of, you know, it's not really sort of slanted where it's in like a takeoff position. I'd say it's more of like a kind of an approach position, if I'm honest, and I kind of like that. You know, obviously, especially in the gear, or even you know, if you prefer the in-flight version, it probably looks like it's cruising rather than maybe taking off, or, you know, climbing, or you know, certainly not you know, sort of descending, which you very rarely see. But no, I do like the way the stand fits and the way the model sits and everything like that. Again, obviously compliments to the stand with the sort of plate there as well. Just kind of, yeah, adds a little bit of emphasis to it as well. Don't get me wrong, if I had the capacity to have maybe like a cabinet where I could display models on stands, I probably would, but I simply don't have the capacity to do that, which is unfortunate because a lot of my models are just sitting in the boxes. And you know, obviously I do have the models, and that's always obviously the most important factor. But yeah, don't get me wrong, you see some people's collections and you see them in glass cabinets like a showroom, and you kind of envy that a little bit. But yeah, that's for now. I'm happy doing what I'm doing and happy with how I collect my models and where I position them and things like that. So, but yeah, of course, if you've got any questions or queries about this model, or if you want to see any other model, like I previously mentioned, that you think I might have, which covers mostly European models. Obviously, I do have Australian models, more so domestically, and again, more so domestically in the US with Southwest, especially 1-200. But of course, there's also 1-400 models, and I do have a smaller collection of 1-500 as well. But nonetheless, hopefully you've enjoyed this video. And as always, I appreciate anybody that watches.